What if you could change the way your mind works, slowly but surely, just by changing a few simple habits? Imagine waking up each day feeling more focused, confident, and in control of your life. No more mental fog, no more feeling stuck or overwhelmed. Instead, you'd have clear direction and real momentum pushing you forward. In this audiobook, I'm going to share 10 positive habits that have the power to rewire your mindset and completely shift how you see yourself and your possibilities. These habits aren't complicated tricks or quick fixes. They are straightforward actions that anyone can start today. If you're tired of feeling lost or powerless and want to build lasting confidence and strength inside, then keep watching. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do to take charge of your mind and your future. Ready to change your life? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Wake up early and plan your day clearly. You wake up every day with a choice. You can either take charge of your life or let life control you. And that choice starts the second your eyes open. If the first thing you do is grab your phone, check messages, scroll through other people's lives, then you've already handed your power away. If you hit snooze again and again, you've trained your mind to delay your growth. You've told yourself that staying comfortable matters more than building discipline. And if you begin your day in chaos, the rest of your day will follow that chaos. But if you choose to wake up early with intention and plan your day with clarity, everything changes. Your mindset rewires. Your actions shift, and your life begins to reflect the discipline you practiced when no one was watching. This is not about waking up early just to say you did. This is about what it does to your identity. When you rise before the noise begins, when the world is still quiet, you reclaim your time. You train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. You give yourself room to breathe. Think, prepare. You stop reacting. You start leading. You create a quiet space where your thoughts are clean and focused, not rushed or crowded. That stillness becomes your strength. And planning your day clearly, it's not some productivity hack or motivational trick. It's a decision to stop living on autopilot. People drift through life, not because they're weak, but because they never stop to take full control. They don't know what they want. They don't know where their time is going. They wonder why nothing is working, but they've never sat down to ask themselves, what's my real priority today? What truly matters today? Who do I need to become to meet this day with strength? When you wake up early and plan your day, you begin to separate yourself from who you used to be. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. The old version of you, the one that made excuses, wasted time, stayed stuck, starts to fade. You start becoming the kind of person who finishes what they start. You start showing up for yourself in ways that build trust in your own eyes. And that trust becomes the foundation for confidence. You don't build a powerful mindset overnight. You build it in those quiet hours when nobody sees what you're doing. You build it by setting an alarm and actually getting up when it rings. You build it by resisting that urge to stay in bed and convincing yourself it's okay to take it slow. You build it by facing the moment you want comfort most and choosing growth instead. That's the moment you start rewiring how your mind works. Every person who has turned their life around began with a small decision, and for many that decision was to stop wasting their mornings. Your morning is a test. It's the first battle of the day. If you win it, everything else feels lighter. When you've already done something difficult, getting up early, resisting distractions, organizing your day, you carry that momentum with you into everything else. If you want to change your life, Don't wait for some massive breakthrough. You don't need to quit your job, move to a new city, or wait for January 1st. You need to take back your morning. Get up early, feel the discomfort, sit with it, then start writing. Plan your priorities with brutal honesty. What must get done? What can wait? What needs to be removed completely? Clarity is power. When your mind is clear, your energy is focused. And when your energy is focused, your actions follow with precision. Most people don't need more motivation. They need more clarity. They're confused because they've never taken 15 minutes to organize their thoughts. They're overwhelmed because they're trying to do everything without knowing what actually matters. They feel stuck because they're waking up late, rushing into the day, and reacting to problems instead of being proactive with solutions. Waking up early doesn't mean you have to be extreme. It means you get up with a purpose. Whether that's 5 a.m., 6 a.m., or just an hour earlier than usual, that's not the point. The point is, you get up before the day takes you hostage. You start before the world throws distractions in your face. You give yourself the mental space to breathe, to reflect, to choose your focus. And when you sit down to plan your day, be real with yourself. Don't make a to-do list with 20 unrealistic goals. That's not discipline. That's self-sabotage. Write down 3 things that truly move your life forward. Just 3. That's it. Not what looks good, not what feels easy, but what matters. That phone call you've been avoiding. That task that makes you nervous. That habit you said you'd build, but keep putting off. Write them down, commit, and don't end your day until they're done. You want to build confidence. Do what you said you'd do. You want to stop feeling anxious. Take back control of your day. You want to grow your mindset. Start by changing how you start your morning. The truth is, many people want a different life, but they don't want to do different things. They don't want to change their routine. They want the rewards but not the responsibility. They want growth without discomfort. But it doesn't work that way. If you can't get out of bed when you said you would, how can you trust yourself with bigger challenges? If you can't spend 10 minutes planning your day, how can you expect your day to reward you with progress? The world doesn't give you clarity. You create it. Every time you sit down and ask, "What's my purpose today?" Every time you write it down. Every time you look at your schedule and remove the things that waste your time. Every time you decide to keep your focus tight. That's how you create direction. That's how you stop drifting. That's how you build a mindset that wins. And don't let people fool you. Most people aren't busy. They're distracted. They're scattered. They're chasing urgency, not importance. Don't become that. When you plan your day early, when your mind is clear and calm, you see the difference between what is loud and what is essential. And once you start seeing that, you start making decisions that move your life forward, not just fill your hours. Your time is your life. Don't throw away the first few hours of your day, scrolling, rushing, or reacting. That's how people waste their lives in small moments. The day doesn't belong to the one who shouts the loudest or works the longest. It belongs to the one who gets up with clarity, who knows what matters, and who commits to following through no matter how they feel. You're not too tired. You're not too late. You're not too behind. You're just undisciplined with your mornings. And the good news, that can change today. You can make one new decision. Set your alarm earlier. Wake up with intention. And instead of diving into noise, sit in silence. Breathe. Think. Write. Ask yourself, what will make today feel meaningful? And then structure your day around that answer. It won't be easy. It will feel uncomfortable at first, but growth lives in the hard things. And if you do this for a few days, you'll start to feel different. You'll notice your mind getting clearer. You'll feel more prepared. You'll stop rushing. You'll stop complaining. You'll start acting with purpose. That's when you know your mindset is changing. Not because your life suddenly looks different, but because you do. If you want to feel more in control, if you want to build confidence, if you want to finally feel like you're moving forward, start here. Start with your morning. Get up early. Claim your time. Plan your day with clarity. And don't stop until your actions match your intentions. Because no one's coming to save you. No one's going to show up and fix your routine. No one's going to force you to grow. It's on you. It always has been. But once you take that seriously, once you realize how powerful your mornings are, and how much clarity they can give you, you'll never go back to sleeping on your own potential. You want success. You want a mindset that keeps you sharp, disciplined, and focused. You want to feel proud of yourself again. It starts with one decision, one habit. Wake up early, plan your day clearly, and take full control of your life. Chapter 2. Write down 3 wins before you sleep. You go to bed every night, either proud of how you showed up, or silently disappointed that you let another day slip away. That feeling right before you close your eyes, that's where your self-worth is built or broken. And the truth is, most people spend their nights replaying what went wrong, who they disappointed, how far behind they feel, or how much they still didn't get done. They carry that weight into their sleep, and then wonder why they wake up already tired, already behind, already doubting themselves. But there's a way to change that. A simple shift that can rebuild your confidence from the inside out. Before you sleep, write down 3 wins from your day. Just 3. They don't need to be huge. They don't need to impress anyone. They just need to be real. Something you did right. Something you followed through on. Something that made you a little stronger, a little more focused, a little more honest with yourself. This one habit rewires your mind to search for what's working. It teaches you to notice progress, not just problems. Most people are trained to look for what's broken. We're taught to criticize ourselves more than we encourage ourselves. We go to bed thinking we didn't do enough. We're not good enough. We're still too far from where we want to be. That mindset slowly chips away at your self-belief. And without belief, you can't move forward. But when you end your day by writing 3 wins, you reclaim control over how your day is judged. You become the author of your progress, not just the victim of your doubts. Think about what that does to your brain over time. When you do this for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, your mind starts to expect progress. It becomes your new standard. You begin to measure your life by what's working, not just by what's missing. You stop being blind to the small steps. And when you notice them, they compound. You show up differently because you're not just chasing results, you're recognizing them daily. Here's the problem. Most people never track their growth. They measure themselves only by big outcomes, more money, more recognition, more results. And if they don't hit those, they think they've failed. That's why they lose motivation. That's why they stop trying. They never pause to realize they're becoming more disciplined. They're thinking more clearly. They're showing more self-control. They're doing things they would have avoided a year ago. But since it's not loud and dramatic, they don't count it as progress. And that's the mistake. You don't become your best self overnight. You grow quietly, daily, in moments nobody sees. When you choose a better reaction, when you show patience, when you complete the task you wanted to avoid, when you eat clean when you wanted comfort. These are wins, and writing them down is how you remind yourself that you're no longer the person you used to be. There's psychology behind this. Your brain learns through repetition and reinforcement. The more you tell yourself something, the more it becomes your identity. If all you ever focus on is your failures, your gaps, your flaws, you'll start to believe that's all you are. But if you end your day by writing what you did well, your brain begins to align with a new self-image. It starts telling you, I'm someone who follows through. I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who's growing. That belief becomes your emotional anchor, and that's what gives you the strength to keep going, especially when things get hard. And look, I know some people will say, Jim, what if I didn't have any wins today? And my answer is always the same. You did, you just stopped noticing them. You woke up and showed up. That's a win. You held back when you could have lashed out. That's a win. You made a better choice, even when it wasn't easy. That's a win. Don't dismiss what matters just because it doesn't look flashy. Your life is built on the small wins repeated, not the big wins once in a while. This habit is also how you end the day with peace instead of pressure. Most people take their regrets into sleep. That regret builds stress, and stress distorts your view of your life. But if you take 5 minutes to reflect on 3 real wins, you reset your emotional state. You remind yourself, today wasn't perfect, but I moved forward. That's all progress ever is, showing up a little better than you did yesterday. Writing them down makes it real. It's not enough to think about them. Your thoughts are too fast. Your mind will rush past the wins unless you stop and put them on paper. The act of writing forces clarity. It turns your thoughts into truth. It gives your day a finish line, a sense of completion. You stop carrying the chaos into the next day. You give your mind permission to rest. And this isn't about journaling for an hour or making it complicated. This is about sitting down, grabbing a notebook or even a sticky note, and writing 1. I finished my workout even though I didn't feel like it. 2. I stayed patient during a tough conversation. I made progress on a project I've been putting off. That's it. It's direct. It's real. It's yours. And here's something powerful. When you do this consistently, your self-talk changes. You stop saying, I never follow through. You stop thinking, I'm still stuck. You start reminding yourself, I'm making progress. I'm building momentum. I'm not the same person I was. And that shift in your inner dialogue is where transformation really begins. You'll also start noticing more during the day. Your mind will be scanning for wins because it knows you're going to write them down later. So now, instead of brushing past your effort, you'll pause and think, that counts. And it does. It absolutely does. And when you start counting what matters, you start feeling like your life matters. People think change has to be this massive, dramatic thing. But real change happens when you take ownership of your day, every day. When you learn how to see your growth and give it the recognition it deserves. When you realize that even on the worst day, you still did something right. That one insight can rebuild your self-respect from the ground up. And I'll tell you what else happens. Your energy starts to shift. You stop dragging yourself through the week. You stop ending your days in shame. You go to sleep knowing you made progress. That's a powerful feeling. You wake up lighter. You start your morning with more purpose. You carry a sense of pride, not arrogance, not ego, just a quiet confidence that you are becoming the person you said you would be. This habit isn't just about reflection. It's about emotional momentum. It's about keeping yourself mentally sharp and emotionally aligned. It keeps your focus on effort and integrity, not just outcomes. You start realizing that how you show up matters, even when results aren't immediate. That insight will carry you further than any motivation video ever will. Most people lose momentum because they don't feel like they're winning. But when you build a habit of seeing your wins every day, you stop waiting for outside validation. You give it to yourself. You own your growth. You don't need someone to cheer you on. You become your own proof. And if you're serious about growth, you'll stop chasing more hacks and start building more self-respect. Self-respect doesn't come from achieving something once. It comes from noticing the effort you're putting in daily and honoring it. Writing down 3 wins is how you do that. It's how you protect your mind from negativity and remind your soul that you're moving in the right direction. So what are your 3 wins today? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. What did you do right? Where did you stay consistent? What small step did you take that your old self would have ignored? Find those wins, write them down, and go to sleep knowing you're not lost. You're evolving. You have a chance tonight. Not next week. Not next year. Tonight. Take 5 minutes. Sit down. Reflect. Acknowledge your effort. And write down your 3 wins. Do it for a week. Watch how your mindset changes. Do it for 30 days. Watch how your confidence grows. Do it for a year. And watch how your life transforms. This isn't hype. It's not a gimmick. It's real. It works. And it's fully in your control. So tonight, before your head hits the pillow, choose strength over shame. Choose reflection over regret. Choose clarity over chaos. Write down your wins. Let them be the final words your mind holds on to. And then rest. Not with pressure, but with pride. You earned that. Now go earn it again tomorrow. Chapter 3. Take full control of how you react daily. You don't lose your peace because of what happens to you. You lose it because of how you choose to respond. Every single day, life is going to throw something at you that you didn't expect. It could be an insult, a delay, a rejection, a reminder of where you're falling short. And in that moment, you have one decision to make. Do I react out of emotion and lose control, or do I respond with discipline and keep my power? That decision shapes your entire life. You can't always control what people say. You can't predict the mood of your boss, the traffic on the freeway, or the tone in someone's voice. But you are always in control of your reaction. That's the one space nobody can take from you. And if you want to build a strong mind and a powerful life, that's the space you need to master. Most people think they're at the mercy of their emotions. They feel angry, so they lash out. They feel discouraged, so they shut down. They feel misunderstood, so they start blaming. And over time, they become slaves to their reactions. They don't even realize it. They say things like, "I couldn't help it," or "That's just how I am." They pushed me too far. But all those are excuses. They sound like reasons, but they're just habits. Conditioned reactions that have never been questioned, never been challenged, never been replaced with something stronger. Here's the truth. You are not your first reaction. You are your second decision. That pause between what happens and how you respond. That's where your power lives. That's where your growth begins. And if you can train yourself to pause, to breathe, to think clearly even when emotions rise, you start gaining control over your life. You stop being someone who reacts out of habit and start being someone who responds with intention. I've seen it again and again. People who lose years of progress because they couldn't handle one bad moment. They quit a job because they got offended. They burned a relationship because they reacted without thinking. They gave up on their goals because one setback triggered their old story of "I'm not good enough." And the saddest part, all of that could have been prevented by mastering one habit, controlling how you react. And don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It takes work. But it's possible. You've got to start by noticing your patterns. Ask yourself, what triggers me? What kind of moments make me lose control? What kind of words make me shut down? Awareness is the first step. If you don't know your patterns, they'll keep running your life in the background. They'll keep hijacking your focus, your mood, your decisions. But once you bring them into the light, you can start rewriting them. Think about the last time you overreacted. The last time you said something you didn't mean, or held on to something for hours, maybe days. How much energy did that cost you? How many hours did you spend replaying that moment in your head? How many conversations did it ruin? That emotional cost adds up. It steals your peace. It lowers your energy, and it clouds your judgment. That's why taking control of your reactions isn't just emotional, it's strategic. You protect your focus, your energy, and your vision. And here's where the real shift happens. When you begin to understand that you don't owe anyone your immediate reaction, you don't have to respond the way they expect you to. You don't have to match their anger, their attitude, their energy. You get to choose your response based on your values, not their behavior. That's freedom. That's discipline. That's growth. One of the strongest things a person can do is stay calm when everything around them is designed to trigger chaos. It's easy to explode. It's easy to blame. It's easy to fall into old patterns. But there's no power in what's easy. Growth lives in the hard choices, the ones that require you to slow down, to breathe through discomfort, to act with purpose, even when everything inside you wants to snap. You've got to understand something important. Your reaction creates your reality. If you meet conflict with aggression, you create more conflict. If you respond to stress with panic, you intensify the chaos. But if you meet resistance with calm, if you answer disrespect with boundaries, if you respond to fear with action, you change the energy. You create a new direction. And in doing so, you stop being a prisoner of your circumstances and become a leader of your own life. Some people will challenge this idea. They'll say, "But Jim, I have a temper," or "That's just how I express myself." And I get it. We all have history. We all have emotional reflexes that we've carried for years. But here's the question. Is that reaction helping you or hurting you? Is it building the life you want or breaking it down? Is it something you're proud of, or something you keep apologizing for? Because you can't keep defending the very thing that's holding you back. Taking control of your reactions doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means directing them. It means using your mind to guide your heart, not the other way around. It means understanding that emotional discipline is not about being cold, it's about being clear. Clear on who you are. Clear on how you want to live. Clear on the energy you want to bring into every room. And let me tell you something else. It's not just about avoiding conflict. It's about building character. Every time you choose a higher response, you become stronger. You build a reputation with yourself. You start trusting your own discipline, and that self-trust is what gives you the confidence to face anything. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Think about how much better your relationships would be if you didn't react with defensiveness. Think about how much more progress you'd make if you didn't waste energy on things that don't matter. Think about how different your days would feel if your mood wasn't controlled by other people's behavior. That's the kind of power you have when you decide to lead yourself. And this isn't something you do once. This is a daily practice. Every morning you set the intention, I'm in charge of how I respond today. No one gets to hijack my peace. No situation gets to dictate my attitude. I will face what comes with clarity and control. Throughout the day, you'll be tested. You'll get the text that annoys you, the driver that cuts you off, the unexpected problem at work. But every test is a chance to prove to yourself that you're not the same person you used to be. You've grown, you've learned. You've trained your mind to serve your future, not sabotage it. And at night you reflect. Did I respond the way I wanted to? What could I have done differently? How can I improve tomorrow? That reflection turns your reactions into data. And that data becomes the roadmap to a better version of you. This is how you lead your own life. Not by chasing more. Not by trying to control everything around you, but by mastering what's already yours, your reaction. That's the foundation of a strong mindset. That's what separates the mature from the emotional, the disciplined from the chaotic, the focused from the distracted. And you don't have to wait. You don't need to read another book or watch another video before you start. You already have everything you need. The next time life challenges you, and it will take the pause, use the space. Choose the response that reflects your growth, not your past. You'll notice something powerful when you do this consistently. People will start responding to you differently. You'll gain their respect, not because you were louder, but because you were grounded. You'll be trusted more, not because you had all the answers, but because you didn't lose your composure. You'll walk into rooms and people will feel your calm energy, and that presence will speak louder than any words. This is the kind of self-leadership the world needs more of. People who know who they are. People who don't flinch in the face of chaos. People who can hold tension without collapsing under it. That kind of strength can't be faked. It can't be borrowed. It's earned, one moment at a time, every time you choose response over reaction. So if you want a better life, start by owning your reaction. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, right here, today. When life throws you a challenge, prove to yourself that you can handle it without losing your center. When you feel disrespected, set boundaries without raising your voice. When you feel frustrated, take a breath instead of taking it out on someone else. You are not your past. You are not your anger. You are not your impulse. You are the person who chooses what comes next. And every time you choose growth, you build a stronger future. Own your reaction. That's how you take back your life. That's how you win. Chapter 4. Speak to yourself with truth and strength. If you spoke to others the way you speak to yourself, would they feel empowered or destroyed? Think about that for a second. Think about the tone you use inside your own head, the words you repeat when you fall short, the names you silently call yourself when no one's around to correct you. That inner voice is shaping your identity more than anything else in your life. It's building your future or breaking it, sentence by sentence. And if you don't take control of that voice, it will turn into your biggest enemy. Your life is being built by the conversations you have with yourself. And most people never realize this. They focus on how others treat them, what people think about them, what society says they should be. But the real war, it's the one inside. The moment you wake up, your mind starts talking. It reminds you of your doubts. It replays yesterday's failure. It whispers limitations. And if you don't confront it with truth and strength, it wins. This isn't about being positive for the sake of being positive. It's about being honest and powerful with yourself. It's about facing reality without sugarcoating it, but refusing to let fear, shame, or guilt define you. You've got to look in the mirror and speak words that sharpen your mindset, not soften your spirit. Because no matter how much external motivation you get, it means nothing if the inner voice is tearing you down. You've heard it before. You're not good enough. You always mess things up. You'll never change. That's not the truth. That's a lie that got repeated so many times it started to sound familiar. But just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's real. You've got to learn to separate fact from fear. Just because you've failed doesn't mean you're a failure. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're not built for it. Just because it's slow doesn't mean you're not making progress. And this is where your power begins, when you start speaking to yourself with clarity and conviction. When you say, yes, I made mistakes, but I'm learning. When you remind yourself, I've made it through worse, and I'll rise again. When you choose to focus not on what's missing, but on what you're capable of building. That's not delusion. That's leadership. Self-leadership. Nobody is born with a strong inner voice. It's trained. It's developed through repetition. It's shaped by the words you allow yourself to say when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you're hurting. And here's the truth. They don't teach you this in school. They don't show you how to coach yourself when life gets heavy. But if you don't learn it, you'll keep breaking your own spirit every time you get challenged. You need to stop waiting for someone else to validate you. You don't need another person's permission to believe in yourself. You don't need the world's applause to start building confidence. You build confidence by speaking strength into your own life, especially when no one else is watching. That's when it counts. That's when it becomes real. Some people say, I'll believe in myself when I see the results. But that's backward. You don't get results without belief. You have to talk to yourself like a warrior, even when you feel weak. You have to remind yourself of your worth, even when you've been knocked down. That's not arrogance. That's survival. That's how you build mental resilience. You plant the seeds of strength with your words, and over time those seeds become unshakable identity. And don't think you need to feel good to speak strong. That's another trap. You don't wait until you feel inspired to speak power. You speak power even when you're frustrated, lost, confused, especially then. Because the words you speak in the dark determine how soon you'll find the light. If you keep feeding your doubt, you'll drown in it. But if you feed your spirit with truth and strength, even the hardest season becomes your training ground. You are not your failures. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the person you used to be when you didn't know better. And if you keep defining yourself by your past, you're robbing yourself of the future you're capable of creating. That inner voice, it needs to evolve. It needs to grow with you. It needs to reflect who you're becoming, not just who you were. Start speaking like the person you're working to become. Speak like someone who values their time. Speak like someone who protects their peace. Speak like someone who's building discipline, even if you've struggled with it before. You don't need to lie to yourself. Just stop repeating things that limit you. Start repeating things that push you forward. Tell yourself, I don't quit just because it's hard. Say, I'm allowed to make progress at my own pace. Remind yourself, I deserve respect, even from myself. Speak those words, even if you don't fully believe them yet. Because over time, your brain will catch up. The mind will follow where your words lead. You're rewiring your thoughts with every sentence you choose. And yes, there will be days when your voice shakes, when the doubt is louder, when the old version of you tries to rise again. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You just have to keep speaking to yourself with intention. You have to keep choosing courage over comfort in the way you think and the way you speak. Some people live their whole lives without changing because they never change their language. They keep calling themselves lazy, so they act lazy. They keep saying they're stuck, so they stay stuck. They keep repeating the same emotional stories, so they live the same emotional reality. But you're not here to repeat the past. You're here to transform. And transformation begins with what you allow yourself to believe. Start by writing down one truth about yourself every morning. One truth that reflects who you want to become. Say it out loud. Say it again when you're doubting. Say it when you want to give up. That's how you fight the noise. That's how you override the old narrative. With repetition, with honesty, with strength. You can't wait for the world to speak strength into you. That's your job. You can't expect confidence to just appear one day. You build it. You build it every time you talk to yourself with discipline. You build it when you say, I won't accept disrespect from my own thoughts. That's how champions think. That's how leaders are made. That's how lives are rebuilt from rock bottom. You've been through things that should have broken you, but you're still here. That means you've got power, and it's time to start owning it. It's time to start treating yourself like someone you're responsible for building. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Save yourself. Talk to yourself like someone who matters, because you do. From this moment forward, be intentional about how you speak to your own mind. Protect it, sharpen it, train it. Be the voice you needed when you were at your lowest. Be the person who says, I may be struggling, but I will rise. I may be doubting, but I will move. I may be tired, but I'm not done. This is your responsibility now. No more tearing yourself down in private and wondering why you feel weak in public. No more silent self-hate hiding under fake smiles. No more rehearsing failure and expecting success. Change your internal dialogue, and you will change your life. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. The more truth you speak, the less room there is for lies. The more strength you declare, the more resilience you grow. You'll start to see it in the way you walk, in the way you make decisions, in the way you handle pressure. You'll no longer be defined by your insecurities, but by the clarity of your inner leadership. And that's the goal. Not just to look strong, but to be strong on the inside. Not just to feel confident when things are going well, but to stand firm when everything's shaking. That kind of power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from being brutally honest with yourself, then responding to that honesty with encouragement, not shame. Speak to yourself the way a warrior trains before battle. Not with softness, but with purpose. Not with fake hype, but with grounded conviction. Tell yourself what you're capable of. Remind yourself why you started. Repeat the vision until it becomes your reality. Because at the end of the day, the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Make sure it's leading you somewhere powerful. Now take a moment, close your eyes, and tell yourself one thing that's true and strong. Say it with belief. Say it with fire. Then live it, because you deserve to walk through this life with a mind that works for you, not against you. The next chapter of your life depends on this. Your future is listening. So speak wisely. Speak boldly. Speak with truth. Speak with strength, and never let your own voice become the reason you fall. Let it be the reason you rise. Again and again. Chapter 5. Block 1 distraction and protect your focus. If you don't eliminate the one distraction that's draining your focus, you'll spend your life building other people's dreams and forgetting your own. Every day you wake up with potential, a fresh 24 hours, a blank slate. But before you even have a chance to take control of it, something steals your attention. Sometimes it's subtle. A quick scroll, a meaningless conversation, a notification you didn't need to check. Other times, it's loud, like a constant craving for something that pulls you away from your priorities. But whether it's loud or quiet, it has the same result. You end the day frustrated, wondering where your time went, wondering why you didn't move forward, wondering why you feel behind. Again, your future is being stolen by the distractions you've accepted as normal. It's being drained not by a lack of ambition, but by the quiet addiction to what doesn't matter. That's what makes distraction so dangerous. It wears the mask of something harmless. But behind that mask is wasted potential, unfinished goals, dreams that slowly die while you're paying attention to things that add no value to your life. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're distracted, and no one's coming to rescue you from it. If you want your focus back, you have to protect it like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. The life you want is on the other side of consistency, and consistency is impossible when you're constantly being pulled in 10 directions. Right now, there's one distraction in your life that's costing you more than anything else. You know what it is. It might be your phone. It might be the wrong crowd. It might be overconsumption of useless content, drama, or self-doubt. And maybe you've tried to manage it. Maybe you've tried to set boundaries. But managing it isn't enough. You've got to eliminate it. You've got to cut it out like a tumor if you want to regain clarity and direction. Focus doesn't happen on accident. It's not something you find. It's something you fight for. It's something you build intentionally by saying no more often than you say yes. People want to do it all, but doing it all is the fastest path to doing nothing well. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer leaks in your time. Your results don't depend on how long you work. They depend on how uninterrupted your work is. 1 hour of deep focus can beat 8 hours of distracted motion. But that level of focus requires a decision. A choice to protect your mind like it's sacred territory. Because it is. Distraction is the enemy of direction. And the more distracted you are, the less clear your path becomes. The brain wasn't designed to be overstimulated all day. Every time you switch tasks, every time you glance at your phone, every time you let your mind wander into the noise, you pay a price. You lose momentum. You lose clarity. You lose presence. And presence is the birthplace of all progress. Look back at your last week. How many times did you say you'd do something, only to get pulled away by something meaningless? How many deep thoughts got interrupted by trivial notifications? How many moments of growth were lost because you kept checking for something to entertain you? That's not failure. That's conditioning. You've been trained to be distracted, but the same way you were conditioned into it, you can condition your way out of it. Start small. Start by identifying just one distraction that's eating your focus. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just pick the biggest leak and seal it. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's people who constantly dump their problems on you. Maybe it's the habit of trying to multitask when you should be in flow. Whatever it is, call it out. Face it, and decide that you won't let it rob another hour of your life. Your energy is limited. Your mental bandwidth isn't infinite. Every distraction you allow is stealing power from something meaningful. And if you keep living like your time is free, you'll keep paying the price with regret. You've got to raise your standard for what gets your attention. If it doesn't build you, strengthen you, grow you, or align with your goals, why are you giving it space in your mind? This is the moment where you reclaim your power, not tomorrow, not after one more scroll. Now, because the longer you wait, the more comfortable distraction becomes, and the more comfortable it becomes, the harder it is to break free. Every day you feed your distractions, they grow stronger. Every day you starve them, your discipline grows, and don't fall for the lie that you need constant stimulation to be productive. That mindset is a trap. You don't need background noise to focus. You don't need to be reachable 24/7 to be responsible. You don't need to keep up with everything to feel valuable. You are most powerful when your mind is quiet, locked in, and fully present in what matters. Some people never build anything meaningful because they never give themselves enough uninterrupted time to go deep. They stay on the surface, they skim through life, they live distracted, and they die with potential still buried inside them. That can't be you. You've got too much to build, too much to heal, too much to create. But none of it happens without intentional focus. You want momentum. Focus is the engine. You want transformation. Focus is the foundation. You want peace. Focus is the key. Everything you want starts with what you choose to ignore, so choose wisely. Protect your mental environment like it's your home, because it is. You live there, and you deserve to live in a space that's clear, strong, and free of the chaos that doesn't serve you. Some distractions feel urgent, but are actually irrelevant. That's how they trick you. They create a false sense of importance, but look deeper. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Will this bring me closer to my vision? Will this contribute to the person I'm trying to become? If not, it's noise. And you weren't born to chase noise. You were born to create signal. You were built to lead your life, not to be led by algorithms, trends, or distractions that leave you empty. The most powerful people you know didn't get there by accident. They didn't luck into clarity. They removed what didn't matter. They created space for focus. They built lives based on intentional choices, not endless distractions. And you can do the same. It starts by removing just one thing today that pulls you away from what truly matters. Once you cut one distraction, you'll realize how much power you've been giving away. You'll feel the difference in your mind, in your mood, in your progress. You'll start showing up differently. And that energy compounds. Focus isn't just about productivity, it's about presence. It's about peace. It's about finally feeling aligned with what you value, instead of being at the mercy of what's loud and shallow. You are not meant to chase 1,000 things. You are meant to master a few. Excellence isn't possible when you're always divided. If you want to go deep, if you want to build something real, if you want to reach your true potential, you've got to guard your focus like a warrior, ruthlessly, relentlessly. Because in a world that profits from your distraction, staying focused is an act of rebellion. You owe it to your future to protect your attention. You owe it to the people counting on you. You owe it to the younger version of you who dreamed big but didn't yet understand how much noise the world would throw at them. Don't let that version of you down. Don't let your purpose be drowned by cheap entertainment, pointless conversations, or hollow validation. This isn't about living like a monk. It's about living with discipline. It's about waking up and choosing yourself over distractions. It's about doing the deep work that changes you. Because nothing changes until your focus changes. Cut the distraction, lock in, make progress. Every single day. That's how you win. And if this spoke to you, don't just feel inspired. Act right now. Name the one distraction that needs to go and get rid of it. Not later. Now. Replace it with something meaningful. A walk, a book, a deep conversation, a moment of stillness. Anything that feeds your growth instead of stealing it. This is your moment. Block the noise. Protect your vision. Focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 6. Move your body every morning without excuses. If you can conquer your body first thing in the morning, you can conquer anything life throws at you. You don't need another alarm. You don't need more motivation. What you need is a promise to yourself that no matter how you feel, no matter what excuse creeps into your mind, you're going to move your body every single morning. Not to lose weight, not to impress anyone, but to prove to yourself that you are in control, not your laziness, not your excuses, not your doubts. You, because there's a war that starts the second you wake up. Your bed whispers, stay. Your mind says later. Your body says, I'm tired. But underneath all that noise, there's a voice that wants to rise. The voice of your higher self, the version of you that's not looking for the easy way out, the version of you that's hungry to become stronger, more disciplined, more alive. And that version of you is forged in the moments you feel like doing nothing but decide to move anyway. The first movement of the day isn't about fitness, it's about freedom. When you get up and move your body, you break the chains of weakness before they tighten around you. You set a tone of strength instead of surrender. You send a message to your mind that says, I'm the one in charge here. And that message echoes through your entire day. Every task becomes sharper. Every challenge feels lighter. Every decision becomes clearer. Why? Because you already won the first battle. Movement is momentum. When you get your blood pumping, when your heart beats with purpose, you tap into something primal, something real. It's not about the perfect workout. It's about refusing to start the day with passivity. It's about taking the wheel instead of drifting through the morning on autopilot. Your body is the gateway to your mind, and your mind is the driver of your destiny. When you move first, you lead first. And leaders don't make excuses. They make decisions. Most people wait to feel ready. That's the mistake. Readiness is a lie. Your comfort zone tells you to keep you still. You will never feel like doing it every day. But that's why it works. Because in that resistance, in that moment where it's easier to stay soft, when you rise, something inside you shifts. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to realize that you're not a slave to how you feel. You become your own force. You've got to stop negotiating with weakness. The moment your alarm goes off, the negotiation begins. 5 more minutes turns into 10. 10 turns into skipping. Skipping turns into guilt. And guilt turns into a cycle that robs you of your self-respect. You start breaking promises to yourself. And every time you do, your self-belief erodes. That's not how you build a strong mind. That's not how you build a powerful life. But imagine the opposite. Imagine opening your eyes and acting immediately. No thinking, no debating, just motion. Feet on the ground, breath steady, body in motion. That version of you doesn't need to be convinced. That version of you is already committed. And when you stack days like that, days where you move no matter what, your entire identity shifts. You go from someone who starts over constantly to someone who follows through relentlessly. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym. You need the decision to move. Stretch, walk, push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever gets you out of stillness and into strength. Don't wait for perfect. Perfect is the enemy of progress. What matters is that you move your body, and you do it every single morning, especially when it's hard, because those are the days that build your edge. There's a reason the military, the most disciplined people on earth, start the day with physical training. It's not just to build muscle, it's to build mindset. When you challenge your body at sunrise, everything else feels easier. Emails don't rattle you. Stress doesn't break you. Doubt doesn't dominate you. Why? Because you've already built resilience before the world even woke up. If you don't control the morning will control you. You'll check your phone. You'll get lost in notifications. You'll feel behind before the day even begins. But when you claim the morning with motion, you take the lead. You move from reactive to proactive, from drained to driven, from scattered to focused. Your body holds energy that most people never tap into because they've forgotten how powerful motion can be. They sit too long. They scroll too much. They let fatigue lie to them. But you're not most people. You're not waiting for energy. You're generating it. You're pulling strength from within. And every time you do that, you prove to yourself that no excuse is stronger than your will. The moment you let a single excuse pass without resistance, you invite weakness in. And weakness doesn't show up once. It comes back. Every morning, waiting to convince you again. That's why you can't negotiate. You get up and move not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because who you become depends on what you do when it's hard. Your life isn't going to change because you think about changing. It's going to change because you take action while everyone else is still asleep, mentally, emotionally, and physically. While others are distracted, you're locked in. While others delay, you begin. While others make excuses, you make progress. The deeper truth is this: discipline is a gift you give yourself. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away once you own it. When you move your body first thing in the morning, you activate discipline. You remind yourself that you are a creator, not a consumer, a builder, not a bystander. You're here to make something of your life, and that mission begins with movement. Think about how you feel on the days you skip. You feel slower, softer, more reactive. You carry a weight that's not just physical, it's psychological. That weight builds over time, and it turns into shame. That shame turns into stories. I'm just not a morning person. I'm too busy. I'll start tomorrow. And those stories, they become identity. But identity can change, one decision at a time, one rep at a time, one morning at a time. You've got to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. You may not see results in a week. You may not feel different immediately. But every day you show up and move, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. Strong, focused, disciplined. And if you keep voting with action, that person will emerge. Not because you hoped for it, but because you worked for it. There's no shortcut to becoming unshakable. You've got to earn it. And that starts with movement. Not once, not sometimes. Every single morning, when your feet hit the ground, let that be your signal. It's time to rise. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's time to take the first win of the day. And that win is movement. No matter what season you're in, burnout, grief, stress, success, movement keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you still have power, that no matter what's happening around you, you can still control what you do with your body. And in that control, you reclaim your confidence. You rebuild momentum. You reset your mind. The body fuels the mind. When you move, you're not just getting stronger. You're getting sharper. You're getting more present. You're waking up layers of awareness that can't be accessed from a couch. You're stepping into your power, one motion at a time. And maybe you've failed before. Maybe you've tried to build a routine, and it didn't stick. That's not failure. That's feedback. Learn from it. Refine your approach. But don't give up. The power is in the repetition. The power is in the decision to show up again, even after missing a day, even after falling short. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. So here's the challenge for the next 7 days. Move your body every morning. No excuses, no skipping, just movement. And watch how everything changes. Your focus, your energy, your mood, your mindset. This isn't a fitness challenge. This is a self-respect challenge. This is about becoming someone you can count on. Someone who doesn't flinch when it's uncomfortable. Someone who shows up when it's hard. Someone who leads themselves every damn day. You're not just training your body. You're building a weapon, disciplined, sharp and unstoppable. So get up, move, own the morning, and remind the world exactly who you are. Chapter 7. Cut out negative talk and choose better words. The most dangerous voice in your life is not the one coming from someone else. It's the one coming from your own mind. You speak to yourself more than anyone else ever will. Every single day, thousands of thoughts run through your head, and every word you say to yourself becomes a thread that weaves your identity. Most people don't even realize it, but they're slowly destroying their confidence with their own mouth. I'm not good enough. I'll never get it right. What's the point? These words sound small, but they have the power to bury your potential in silence. Your future isn't just shaped by your actions, it's shaped by your language. There's no transformation without conversation. And if you keep feeding your mind poison, don't be surprised when your life starts to wither. The truth is, your words carry energy. Every sentence you repeat to yourself is either giving you strength or stealing it. You are always programming yourself. The question is, are you programming power or planting weakness? Most of us have become fluent in the language of limitation. We've gotten too good at talking ourselves down, brushing off compliments, doubting our abilities, and preparing for the worst. We call it being realistic, but in reality, we're building cages with our own vocabulary. Every time you say "I can't," you chain yourself to inaction. Every time you say "I always mess up," you train your mind to expect failure. That's not humility. That's self-sabotage, wearing a mask of modesty. If you knew how powerful your words were, you'd never waste another one tearing yourself down. Think about it. Your body listens to your thoughts. Your nervous system reacts to your inner voice. Your decisions are filtered through your self-talk. And if that internal dialogue is soaked in negativity, insecurity and blame, you are walking through life with mental weight strapped to your back. But when your language changes, everything changes. You don't need more confidence. You need to stop killing it with your own criticism. Confidence is built when you become your own ally instead of your worst enemy. That doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means refusing to speak in ways that weaken you. It means catching yourself when you say things like, "I'm such an idiot," and replacing it with "I'm learning." It means stopping yourself when you say "I can't do this," and instead saying "I'll figure this out." Words are not fluff. They're not filler. They're fuel. The way you talk to yourself in private determines how you show up in public. If you tell yourself you're worthless all day long, you're not going to show up like someone who belongs in the room. You're going to shrink, second guess, hesitate. Not because you're actually unworthy, but because you've been hypnotized by your own destructive narrative. But here's the good news: you can rewrite that script. And when you do, you'll be shocked at how quickly life responds. Have you ever noticed how a single sentence can change your entire mood? One compliment can lift you, one insult can ruin your day. That's how sensitive we are to language. Now imagine what your own voice is doing to you every single day when you're not paying attention. It's time to pay attention. It's time to stop being careless with your own power. Every word you speak into your mind is either armor or ammo, either protection or a shot to the chest. And it's not just about positive thinking, it's deeper than that. It's about conscious communication with yourself. It's about refusing to let your default voice be the one that doubts, criticizes, and complains. Because if that voice wins, you lose. You lose your drive. You lose your joy. You lose your fire. But when you take control of that voice, when you train it to speak with belief, with encouragement, with clarity, you become unstoppable. You've got to stop normalizing toxic self-talk. Just because you've done it for years doesn't mean it's acceptable. Just because everyone else does it doesn't mean it's right. Start holding yourself to a higher standard, not just in what you do, but in what you say. Because your words are seeds, and your mind is the soil. Keep planting doubt, and don't be surprised when you grow weeds instead of dreams. And don't confuse self-deprecation with strength. Tearing yourself down before others can doesn't make you humble, it makes you hardened. It makes you defensive. It keeps you small. Strength is not in pretending to be less. It's in owning who you are while working on who you want to be. It's in speaking truth to yourself, not torment. It's in choosing language that empowers you, even when you're struggling. Every time you change your language, you change your life. When you start telling yourself, "I'm capable," your posture shifts. When you say, "I deserve better," your standards rise. When you whisper, "I've got this," your courage wakes up. It's not magic, it's mindset. And the fastest way to shift your mindset is to shift your words. You are the narrator of your story, and you can either be the one who lifts the hero or the one who destroys them from within. That choice happens in the silence between your thoughts. That choice happens every time you feel fear creeping in, and you decide to speak faith instead. That choice happens every time you're tempted to insult yourself, and you choose patience instead. That's how you change the inner game. Start with awareness. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Pay attention to the words you use when you look in the mirror. Pay attention to the way you describe your future. Is your language helping you rise, or is it preparing you to fail? You'll be surprised at how often you've been your own biggest enemy. But you'll also realize something else. You can be your greatest ally, starting today. No one else gets to decide how you talk to you. That is your sacred territory. That is your training ground. That is where the battle for your life is won or lost. Not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet of your mind. And the louder you let negativity speak inside you, the more powerless you become on the outside. Flip the script. Replace "I always screw this up" with "I'm getting better each time." Replace "I can't take this" with "I'm stronger than I think." Replace "I'm stuck" with "I'm finding a new way." These aren't affirmations, they're survival tools. They're the weapons you use to defeat doubt before it turns into defeat. And don't wait for life to go perfectly to start speaking powerfully. Speak powerfully because life is hard. Speak better words because you need them to keep moving forward. Speak with strength because the world will try to weaken you. The words you feed yourself are the fuel that gets you through when nothing else will. You are always listening. You are always learning from yourself. Every time you open your mouth, even silently, you are shaping who you become. So ask yourself, who are you becoming with the words you're choosing today? If you want to build a stronger life, you've got to build a stronger language. No more casual self-hate. No more toxic jokes about your own worth. No more letting your inner voice sabotage your outer world. You deserve better, and it starts with choosing better words. It starts now, not tomorrow, not next week, not after the next failure. Right now, listen to how you speak to yourself. Challenge every word that makes you shrink. Rewrite every sentence that limits your power. You have the ability to become your own greatest coach. You can train your inner voice to speak with discipline, clarity, and self-respect. You will rise or fall with your words. And today is the day you choose to rise. So speak like someone who's serious about their future. Speak like someone who refuses to go another day tearing themselves down. Speak like someone who knows they've got a long road ahead, but they're ready to walk it with strength, one powerful word at a time. And when you do, when you become that kind of person, the kind who speaks with power and purpose, you won't just change your own life. You'll start inspiring others to do the same. You'll become a mirror for possibility, a voice of reason in a noisy world. A reminder that how we speak shapes how we live. Cut out the noise. Silence the self-hate. Choose better words. And let those words lead you to the life you deserve. Chapter 8. Track your progress every night with honesty. You will never know how far you've come until you stop and face your truth in silence when no one else is watching. Every night you go to bed without reflecting on the steps you took today is a night wasted. Not because you didn't try, but because you didn't honor your own effort with attention. Growth isn't just about doing more. It's about being real with yourself, about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and if it's actually working. The hardest part of progress isn't taking action. It's looking in the mirror at the end of the day and telling yourself the truth. You can't lie your way into greatness. You can't trick your future by pretending today didn't matter. And yet, that's what so many people do. They rush through their days, stacking to-do lists, chasing productivity, staying busy, but never pausing to ask, did I actually move forward? And if you keep doing that, days will blur into weeks, and weeks into months, and before you know it, a whole year will pass with no real change, because you never slowed down long enough to track what you were building. The most disciplined people aren't just hard workers, they're honest evaluators. They know success isn't built on hype, it's built on accurate feedback. That means looking at your life like an engineer, not an emotional reactor. What worked? What didn't? Where did I waste time? Where did I show strength? What habits are making me weaker? These questions aren't about judgment. They're about evolution. And if you're not asking them, you're not evolving. You're repeating. If you want to escape the trap of stagnation, you have to face the scoreboard of your life every single night. And not with shame or frustration, but with clarity. The goal isn't to beat yourself up. The goal is to wake yourself up. You don't grow through blind optimism. You grow through deliberate, focused correction. And that starts with tracking your progress. Not once a week, not when things fall apart, but every single night. Because nighttime is the truth teller. When the noise of the day fades, and it's just you, your thoughts and your decisions, you either feel proud or you feel regret. But regret doesn't come from failure. Regret comes from knowing you could have been honest, and you weren't. It comes from recognizing you had a moment to adjust, and you ignored it. And the pain of that compounds over time. But so does the power of being consistent. When you commit to tracking your progress nightly, you create a level of personal accountability that no external motivation can match. You become the one who sees everything, the one who doesn't let yourself off the hook, the one who builds discipline in the dark when no one else is clapping for you. And that's where true transformation begins. You don't need more plans, you need more precision. What did you do today that moved the needle? What did you promise yourself this morning? And did you follow through? How did you show up under pressure? Where did you fold? What part of you grew today? What old behavior tried to sneak back in? These aren't questions for perfectionists. These are questions for winners. For people who want to build something real, not just feel good in the moment. Tracking your progress is how you break the spell of mediocrity. Because mediocrity loves vagueness. It thrives in generalities. It says things like, I had a pretty good day, or I'll do better tomorrow, without ever defining what that actually means. But when you sit down and face your results with raw honesty, you can't hide anymore. You see exactly what needs to be fixed. And more importantly, you see what's actually working. And that clarity becomes fuel. One of the greatest sources of momentum is evidence. When you write down your progress, when you journal your growth, when you track your discipline, you are collecting proof that you're not the same person you were last week. You are reminding yourself that this grind is working. That's not ego. That's reinforcement. And your brain needs it, because without it, it's easy to slip back into doubt, to think none of this matters, to think you're not getting anywhere. But when you track with intention, you silence those lies. You've got to start treating your life like a project you're building. Would you ever build a house without measuring anything? Would you launch a business without tracking results? Then why are you trying to build your future without checking your foundation every night? Stop winging it. Start owning it. And this doesn't mean you need a fancy system. You don't need 10 apps and 5 spreadsheets. You need honesty. That's it. Take 5 minutes. Ask yourself what you did well, what needs work, what patterns you're seeing, what you're proud of, what needs to be eliminated. 5 minutes of truth can save you 5 years of going in circles. Most people fail not because they're lazy, but because they're unaware. They keep doing the same things, hoping for different results, without ever stopping to look at what they're actually doing. But when you commit to nightly reflection, you catch the loops before they become traps. You see your blind spots. You notice your self-sabotage, and you give yourself the power to course correct before things spiral. There is no greater freedom than knowing where you stand. There is no greater power than seeing the truth and using it to grow. And there is no better time to do that than at the end of the day, when all the noise is gone, and all that's left is you and your mirror. That mirror doesn't lie. And if you're willing to face it, it will show you the path forward. This is not about obsessing over perfection. It's about respecting your journey enough to track it. It's about building the habit of awareness, because awareness breeds alignment, and alignment breeds power. And the people who are most dangerous in this world, the ones who achieve, overcome, and elevate, are not always the most talented. They're the most aligned. They know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and where they're going next, because they take the time to track it. Imagine what your life would look like if you reviewed your habits every night for the next 90 days. Imagine how fast you would notice what's draining your energy, what's stealing your time, what's costing you progress. Imagine how fast you'd optimize, how quickly you'd evolve. You don't need more time, you need more truth. Start tonight. Sit down, no distractions, no noise, just a pen, a notebook, and your mind. Ask yourself the hard questions. What did I avoid today? Where did I show courage? Did I follow my standards, or did I lower them? What patterns are forming? What am I pretending not to know? What would my future self thank me for? These are the questions that change lives, not because they give you answers, but because they force you to pay attention. And once you start tracking your nights, you'll start living your days differently. Because you'll know the truth is coming. You'll know you have to face yourself at the end. And that knowledge will sharpen your focus. You'll stop wasting time. You'll stop lying to yourself. You'll raise your standards. And most of all, you'll build the one thing that separates dreamers from achievers: self-respect. This is not a routine. It's a ritual. It's how you honor your goals. It's how you show the universe you're serious. Because you're not just hoping anymore. You're checking, you're measuring, you're refining. That's the mindset of someone who wins. So don't go to bed with questions, go to bed with answers. Don't drift into sleep pretending the day didn't matter. End your night with intention, with reflection, with ownership. That's how you build a life you're proud of. One honest day at a time. Track your progress. Face your truth. Respect your journey, and never ever go to sleep without knowing who you are becoming. Because if you can do that, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not time. You will evolve into someone even you didn't see coming. And when that day comes, when you look back and realize how far you've come, you'll know it wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It wasn't some big breakthrough. It was you, choosing, every single night, to stay awake to your own growth. Now go. Start tonight. The future is waiting for the honest version of you to show up. Chapter 9. Spend time alone to think and refocus daily. You'll never hear your own voice clearly until you shut out the noise of the world and face your thoughts in silence. Most people are running so fast, they forget to ask themselves where they're even going. They're busy chasing goals, answering messages, fulfilling obligations, but never taking a single moment to breathe and listen to their own mind. That's not ambition. That's avoidance. Because the truth is, sitting alone with your thoughts forces you to confront what you've been trying to outrun. And that's where the real breakthroughs begin. You were not built to be in a constant state of stimulation. The phone buzzing, the notifications popping up, the world constantly demanding your attention, that's how people lose their identity. You start absorbing other people's opinions, their energy, their priorities. Before you know it, you've forgotten what you believe in. You've disconnected from your core. You've traded your clarity for convenience. And the price is heavy. Clarity doesn't come from the crowd. It comes from quiet. And the more time you spend in solitude, the sharper your focus becomes. The more intentional your actions get. The more confident you become in the decisions you make. Because you're not just reacting to life anymore, you're directing it. You're filtering out the distractions. You're drawing your own lines. You're reclaiming your mental space. Solitude isn't isolation, it's elevation. It's where you go to reset your mind, to realign your purpose, to ask yourself the questions no one else is asking you. Who are you becoming? Why are you doing what you're doing? What matters to you now that didn't matter a year ago? What needs to be let go? What needs to be doubled down on? You can't answer those questions in a rush. You answer them in the stillness. When you spend time alone daily, you build a relationship with yourself. And that relationship becomes your anchor. So when life gets chaotic, when everything around you starts spinning, you're not thrown off course. Because you've trained yourself to return to calm. You've built the habit of resetting your mind. And that mental discipline becomes a superpower. Most people think strength comes from being constantly on the move. But real power comes from knowing when to stop, when to unplug, when to sit down, close your eyes and breathe deeply. That's when your thoughts settle. That's when your emotions organize. That's when your intuition starts speaking. And if you listen closely, it'll guide you with precision. You've been taught that rest is weakness, that thinking is a luxury, that being alone means you're missing out. But that's a lie. Some of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make will come from moments of solitude. Some of the clearest visions you'll ever receive will appear when there's no one else around. Some of the greatest answers you've been searching for have been buried under the noise, and you'll only find them when you choose to be still. Stop running from the quiet. It's not your enemy, it's your mirror. And if you're brave enough to look into it every day, you'll begin to see what needs to change. You'll see where your energy is leaking. You'll notice which thoughts are feeding your confidence and which ones are draining it. You'll realize how much time you've spent chasing things that don't even fulfill you. And once that realization hits, you'll be able to redirect your path with intention. You don't need a full hour. Start with 5 minutes. Go somewhere where no one can reach you. No screens, no noise, just you and your breath. And in that space, let your mind speak. Not the anxious mind, not the overthinking mind, but the part of you that knows the truth. The part that's been buried under distractions, the part that remembers who you are when no one else is watching. The most dangerous version of you is not the one that's constantly working. It's the one that's constantly aware, because awareness leads to control. And when you control your focus, your direction sharpens. Your goals stop being guesses, they become clear targets. And every action you take starts hitting closer to the center. But that kind of awareness isn't accidental. It's built. It's practiced. It's earned through consistency. And the more you commit to daily solitude, the more attuned you become to your real self. You begin to see patterns in your behavior. You begin to recognize the difference between movement and progress. You begin to cut out what's unnecessary and prioritize what really matters. That's not magic. That's mental alignment, and it creates a ripple effect. When you begin each day centered or end each day grounded, you respond to life from a place of stability. Your reactions slow down. Your decisions become cleaner. Your energy becomes more focused. You're no longer chasing peace. You're carrying it. That's what most people don't understand. Solitude isn't about escaping the world. It's about preparing for it. When you sit alone with your thoughts, you're sharpening your inner weapon. You're building the mindset that can withstand pressure, resist temptation, stay clear when others panic. That's how you become unshakable. You'll start to notice the benefits in every part of your life. Your communication improves because you've taken the time to clarify your thoughts. Your goals get clearer because you've stopped just reacting and started reflecting. Your energy feels more controlled because you're no longer pouring it into meaningless distractions. you become more deliberate, more intentional, more powerful, and maybe most importantly, you start to rebuild trust with yourself. Every time you create space to think, you're sending yourself a signal. My voice matters. My clarity is worth protecting. My path deserves attention. And that quiet confidence becomes the foundation of everything else. Because here's the truth. Nobody else can give you your vision. Nobody else can define your purpose. Nobody else knows what you truly want. Only you do. And if you don't make time every day to reconnect with that inner clarity, you'll spend your whole life chasing other people's dreams, living by someone else's rules, fighting battles that aren't even yours. You need solitude, not because the world is wrong, but because your voice is valuable. And the more you listen to it, the louder it gets, the clearer it becomes. And soon that voice will start guiding you, not just in quiet moments, but even in chaos. That's how you rise. That's how you lead. That's how you live on your own terms. You've got dreams that need direction. You've got potential that needs permission. You've got a fire inside that's been waiting for stillness to breathe. So give it room. Let your mind expand. Let your vision sharpen. Let your purpose grow roots. All of that begins when you make time, daily, consistently, to be alone, to think, and to refocus. The world will always try to pull your attention, but your power comes from pulling it back. Every time you sit in silence, you're taking your power back from distraction, from doubt, from outside pressure. You're reclaiming your space. You're remembering who you are. Don't underestimate what 5 minutes a day can do. It can transform how you think. It can elevate how you feel. It can align your actions with your vision, and that alignment is what separates people who talk about change from people who create it. So don't wait for a perfect moment. Create one. Find your silence. Sit in it. Embrace it, and let it guide you. Because in that quiet space, something incredible happens. You start to become the person you were meant to be. One thought at a time, one choice at a time, one focused moment at a time. You want to build a strong life. Start by building a strong mind. And the mind doesn't get stronger by doing more. It gets stronger by thinking better. And that begins in solitude. Make the space, take the time, and protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Now go. Don't just hear this, act on it. Find your moment of stillness today. Give your mind a chance to breathe, and step back into the world more focused, more clear, more aligned, ready to lead your life forward with precision and power. Chapter 10. Do one hard task first thing every morning. The moment you choose to tackle your hardest task first thing in the morning, you ignite a chain reaction that transforms your entire day and ultimately your life. Imagine waking up every day with a sense of unstoppable momentum, a feeling that no matter what comes your way, you've already conquered the mountain that stands tallest on your horizon. That's not luck. That's intention. That's strategy. It's the simple yet radical habit of doing one hard task first thing every morning, and it will change everything. Here's the truth few dare to admit. The hardest work is often the most important work. The challenge we resist the most is usually the one that holds the key to progress. But what separates those who get stuck from those who move forward is how they approach that challenge. The procrastinators push it down the list, hoping it will disappear. The winners don't wait. They attack it the moment the day begins, before doubts, distractions, and excuses have a chance to creep in. Why is this so powerful? Because the first action you take each day sets the tone for every thought, decision, and effort that follows. When you face your hardest task immediately, you're telling your mind, I am in control, I am stronger than resistance. I decide what matters. You create an early victory, and victories breed more victories. You build confidence not on empty promises but on proven action. Think about how often your mornings are hijacked. The phone lights up with messages, the news pulls you into chaos, your mind floods with small, easy tasks disguised as urgent. Before you know it, hours vanish into noise, and the thing that truly demands your energy is still untouched. The hard task, the one that will stretch you, that will build your skills, that will push you beyond comfort, gets left behind, buried under a mountain of distractions. That's the problem. The hardest work never waits for convenience. It's always there challenging you to rise. And when you finally give it your full attention first thing, it loses its power to intimidate. It becomes manageable. It becomes conquerable. You gain clarity because your brain is fresh, not fogged by the day's chaos. You sharpen focus because your willpower is at its peak before it's worn down by decisions. Every day you delay the hard task, you're training yourself to avoid discomfort. But comfort doesn't build champions. Discomfort does. That first hard task is your daily rite of passage, your test of resilience. It's where you decide whether you will be passive or proactive, weak or strong, a dreamer or a doer. When you make this a habit, the unexpected side effects are profound. You'll notice your energy shifts. You'll feel more alive, more engaged, because you've exercised your will. Your mind sharpens because you're tackling complexity before your brain gets fatigued. Your stress decreases because that nagging task isn't lurking in the back of your mind all day, draining your focus. Your productivity skyrockets because every other task feels easier in comparison. But this isn't about just grinding through work. It's about winning your inner battle every morning. It's about showing up for yourself before you show up for anyone else. It's about creating a momentum that no outside circumstance can break. This small shift rewires your identity. You become the kind of person who does hard things. Not sometimes, but consistently. Not when you feel like it, but because you know you must. I want you to picture the difference between starting your day by scrolling through social media or checking emails versus launching straight into the most demanding task on your list. The first drains your mental energy before you even begin. The second charges your willpower, lights your confidence on fire, and makes distractions powerless. Which person do you want to be? Now, I'm not saying this will be easy. It's supposed to feel hard. That's the point. Every morning, you will face resistance. Your mind will scream for comfort, for delay, for anything but discomfort. But you have to be louder. You have to be stronger. Because each time you push through, you reinforce a truth. You control your day, not the other way around. The key is to start small but consistent. Don't overwhelm yourself with an impossible list. Choose one task, the one that will move you forward the most, and make that your first victory. When you complete it, no matter how small or tough, you've won. You've taken control. You've set the foundation for progress. This habit will build your self-trust. When you know you can rely on yourself to do the hard thing first, you stop doubting your ability to handle challenges. That trust is priceless. It spills over into every corner of your life, relationships, health, career, because it's not about the task itself. It's about what the task represents, your commitment to growth, your refusal to settle, your willingness to sacrifice short-term ease for long-term gain. Imagine the ripple effect over weeks, months, years. A morning ritual of doing the hardest thing first turns into a lifetime pattern of resilience. You become the person who meets adversity head-on, who refuses to be defined by excuses, who builds momentum that no obstacle can stop. This is how you transform potential into results. You might wonder, what if I fail? What if I don't finish the task? That's part of the journey. Doing the hard thing doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. Each morning you try, you reinforce a muscle. Some days you'll stumble, but the act of showing up itself is progress. Even failure is growth, if you learn from it and try again the next day. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark, not a flame. You build the fire with action, with discipline, with the commitment to do the hard thing before anything else. That's how you win your mornings, and in turn how you win your life. You deserve to feel that power every day, to wake up knowing you've already claimed victory, to build a momentum so strong it carries you through the toughest challenges, to become the architect of your success by mastering the simple yet profound act of doing one hard task first thing. So start tomorrow. Choose the one challenge you've been avoiding. Wake up, take a deep breath, and attack it. Don't negotiate, don't delay. Make it non-negotiable. Watch how it transforms your confidence, your focus, your entire day. Your future self will thank you for this choice. Not because the task was easy, but because the habit of doing the hard thing first made you unstoppable. Now don't just hear this. Act on it. Choose your hard task tonight. Prepare yourself. Tomorrow morning, rise and conquer it before the world wakes up. That one decision will set you apart. That one habit will build your legacy. That one hard task is your key to winning every day.